may be banning TikTok. We may be doing some other things. There are a couple of options, but a lot of things are happening. So we'll see what happens. But we are looking at a lot of alternatives with respect to TikTok.
Hello and welcome to The Nexus. That was the comedian Sarah Cooper lip-syncing to President Donald Trump using an app on her phone called TikTok. Now, it's only a bit of fun. So why is the US president looking at banning the app in the next few days? Well, his administration is concerned that TikTok's Chinese owners ByteDance will take your data and feed it back to the Chinese government. And so he's given them an ultimatum. Sell TikTok to an American company or be shut down for good. He set a September 15th deadline. Now, does Trump have legitimate security concerns, or is he just taking a swipe at China? After all, what kind of data can China get from teenagers making videos about their dogs or lip-syncing to their favorite movies?
Good morning, my neighbors!
Seems harmless enough, but be aware that TikTok's algorithm continually collects data on you. And the question is, could that data fall into the wrong hands? And what are the dangers of a Chinese-owned company controlling the way 100 million Americans view videos? Well, India says it's worried and it's banned TikTok, much to the consternation and frustration of the country's 200 million users. Okay, in a moment we'll hear from a cybersecurity expert in Washington, and we'll have the view from Beijing. We'll also hear from a couple of TikTokers with millions of followers. But first, if you're still asking, what is TikTok? Don't worry, you're not the only one.
TikTok is one of the most popular social media apps on the planet.
TikTok has been downloaded over 2 billion times.
What is TikTok? Seriously, what is it?
TikTok offers endless 15-second videos designed exclusively for mobile viewing, with a heavy sprinkling of viral challenges, popular short dances, and pranks.
But beneath the pop culture fun are big red flags about security. TikTok is Chinese-owned, and there are concerns it can sweep up user data.
Would you recommend that people download that app on their phones?
Only if you want your private information in the hands of the Chinese Communist Party.
TikTok has denied sharing user data with the Chinese government.
The U.S. is reportedly weighing a ban on TikTok.
We're looking at TikTok. We may be banning TikTok. We may be doing some other things. There are a couple of options, but a lot of things are happening. So we'll see what happens. But we are looking at a lot of alternatives with respect to TikTok.
President Trump is making good on his threat to crack down on 2 popular Chinese-owned social media apps. He's signed executive orders banning TikTok and WeChat from operating in the U.S. within 45 days, unless they're sold.
Microsoft is in talks to buy them.
Walmart could be teaming up with Microsoft to buy the wildly popular social media platform.
Oracle is throwing its hat into the ring as a new contender for the U.S. operations of TikTok.
TikTok is valued at about $50 billion, according to some investors.
And a very substantial portion of that price is going to have to come into the Treasury of the United States, because we're making it possible for this deal to happen.
This type of bullying is a blatant denial of the market economy.
TikTok's users are incredibly angry about this potential ban.
TikTok has put on so many new artists. It's created so many new influencers that feed their families with this.
Donald Trump, if you see this, leave us alone. What the hell am I supposed to do now? Leave us alone. Damn.
Okay, well, let's start the show with one of TikTok's stars. Jack Innon joins us now. He has over 2 million followers. Jack, welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
Not at all. Now, you concentrate on comedy videos, and you told me that you recently dropped out of university to do so. A lot of people at home will be wondering why.
Well, I kind of rationed. I was studying media production at university, and my rationale on that was that if I could succeed some way in my own way with media production, that I would give it a shot and see where it went before my graduation date. But it's a good question.
And what did your parents make of it?
They were supportive. I think anyone dropping out, there's some concern on the longevity of it, but they were pretty supportive. They saw that it's something I was really passionate about, and something that I think that there's some longevity in, so supportive all around.
All right, well, look, let's take a sample of your product. Have a look at one of the sketches where you play two morons having a go at each other.
I'm gonna order some McDonald's. You want anything? Ooh, yeah, can I get a burger with no blueberries? Blueberries? No thanks. No, why would someone want blueberries on their burger? Why would you ask me? I literally just said no blueberries. But why would there be blueberries on the burger? I don't know, dude, that sounds gross. There are no blueberries on their burgers. Then what's the problem? There's no problem. Oh.
Jack, that was quite funny from my perspective. I don't know what other people think, but you've had quite a lot of views on it. Are you able to make a living off it?
As of right now, I am, which is the most exciting part, and that's what helped me in my decision to drop out. Is that it's something that I think that a lot of people don't see as very lucrative, but when you kind of look at the business behind the scene, it can be quite lucrative.
So what about brand integration then, where a big brand will call you up, in your case, a famous razor blade manufacturer, and they know that a lot of young people are watching you, you've got their eyeballs, you've got their attention. Is that where the money comes from predominantly?
Predominantly, for sure, especially for me. You see so many brands cashing on TikTok, and TikTok being the new media superstar of 2020. So many brands are coming in, and that's where I make most of my my money, for sure.
So how important is the US market to you then? What would happen if President Trump made good on his threat to ban the app in the event that it cannot be sold to an American buyer?
Yeah, it would be pretty drastic. My audience is made up predominantly of American viewers, even though I'm Canadian myself. I believe it's around 60%. So there goes, a majority of my audience, along with most of the brands, like you said, I work with are American. So the American market in terms of viewership, as well as the money behind the app supporting the creators, is predominantly American. So it would definitely be quite a drastic change to the landscape.
So the Trump administration says that it's concerned your data, the data of your followers, could be compromised. Is that something that you think about?
I do, for sure, in the way that I think that there's a precedent being set on privacy and data mining that could be harmful, especially in younger generations getting so used to the idea of their privacy or their data being an exchange for free media.
That's a really interesting point. So basically, young people are willing and have become conditioned to exchanging their privacy for a bit of easy amusement or to be a star very quickly. So with that in mind, would you feel more comfortable if an American company does end up owning TikTok?
Personally, I would, because like I said, my audience and the brands I work with are rooted in America. So I think American control would give a little bit more control to those viewers and to those brands, as well as my concern is how different countries use data mining. So I think I'd be a little bit more comfortable with the U.S. Control over the app.
Okay, well, Jack Innon, thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy TikTok schedule to be with us, and good luck in the future.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
So as we've heard, TikTokers are a bit concerned about what the Trump administration may do next, but from their point of view, they would say they're doing the right thing to protect Americans in the long run. Others, though, would say it's a little political. With the election coming up in 2020, President Donald Trump is trying to make China the bogeyman. Okay, let's get serious now, and we're about to hear from our cybersecurity expert in Washington, James Lewis, and the Beijing-based businessman, Ina Tangen. Thank you, both of you, for joining us. Let me start with you, James. It's just a fun app. What are you so worried about?
It's the larger issue of Chinese espionage, which has reached unprecedented levels in the U.S. The FBI tells me there's more than 1,000 cases under investigation. I know of 2 that involve the theft of highly classified technology. There are others looking at advanced technology. And so the fear is that anything that connects to China can be used by the Chinese government as a platform for espionage. Their own laws say that companies must cooperate. There is no chance for appeal. There are many examples of this. There are many problems. And so people look at TikTok. TikTok itself is harmless. Come on, it's lip syncing. It's 15-year-olds. But ByteDance, the Chinese owner located in Beijing, could be subject to pressure and could serve as a vehicle for Chinese espionage.
Innon, do you accept that?
This is the kind of hysterical talk I would expect from kind of McCarthy era times. I mean, this idea that there are reds under the bed and that we have to be suspicious of China. The fact is, my esteemed college, James, has not identified any particular thing, saying there's 1,000 cases and 2 are serious. Well, you have to be a little bit more specific. Under the United States rules of law, I mean, there's something called due process. The rule of law is important. You cannot put somebody away because you think they might do something. I might think that you might kill your mother, but that doesn't mean that I can lock you up or take.
Is that a fair comparison, James?
Not at all. You can go to the Department of Justice website and see many, many pictures of Chinese spies who've been captured through screenshots. I've even told the Chinese they should get their spies to dress better in some cases. We have multiple cases. I'm involved in 2 now, one in Los Angeles, one in New York. There are examples in other countries. The British, the French, the Germans, the Swedes, the Dutch have all said they have Chinese espionage. If you want to see their pictures, go to the DOJ website.
I'd love
Look
to see
at the closing
pictures,
of the
James, but
consulate.
that doesn't mean that they work for the Chinese government. There's a tremendous
If they're
amount
wearing
of
a PLA
spying
uniform,
done.
it means they work for the Chinese government.
You have dispositive proof. Most of these cases that I would love for you to name some so that we could actually talk about specifics.
Look,
but the issue here is that there is a lot of commercial espionage that goes on, and quite frankly, the United States with the Five Eyes has the upper hand. The fact is, the United States has a better and spy network and spends more, and has been caught. Has been, documented, well documented by leaks, by Assange, etc. Snowden. You cannot deny that. So this idea that somehow the U.S. is blameless in this situation, and that China is the only one spying in the world, it's utterly preposterous, and you know that, James. So I'm surprised that you're.
We're not talking about whether the U.S. is blameless. We're talking about whether the U.S. should trust China. We're talking about whether Belgium should trust China because they extradited a Chinese spy to the United States. This is all a matter of public record. It's overwhelming. The U.S. does not trust China, and it has good reason not to do so.
James, you said it's really laughable that anybody would want the data of teenagers lip syncing and so on, but that it may be the fact that the app acts as a device to infiltrate the home network or the office network. Can you explain that?
Certainly. You download an app onto your phone. It updates automatically. It gets data from whoever the app manager is. You have no idea what's being sent to your phone. Most of us just click update automatically. That's a good thing generally because it means you're getting bug fixes. But there has been instances where countries have used the updater as a way to send malware or spyware to your phone. And of course, there was a case in China within the last year of someone doing this and catching 144 million phones through WeChat. So when you connect to an app, the app connects back to its home, and that provides a channel for people to send new software. And if they chose, that software could include malicious software, spyware. That's the concern. It has happened in the past, not with TikTok, not with ByteDance, but the risk is there. And that's why the US is taking these actions.
I know these servers for TikTok America are based in the United States, and I know that you've argued in the past that gives some protection. But as James mentioned, there are concerns that the owner, ByteDance, will have links with the Chinese Communist Party and will, if requested or demanded, have to hand over information and data to the CCP. Is that still the case?
Well, there's always suspicion, and quite frankly, as James pointed out, there have been no cases involving TikTok or ByteDance to prove that. There have been cases involving Facebook, all sorts of Google, etc., and they paid large fines, both in the United States and Europe. Yet no one is claiming that they should be banned or that they should be forced into a sale.
James has argued in the past, and others have too, about the case for reciprocity. So in China, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, even TikTok are banned because the party there in charge wants to have control over the information. Does the United States have an argument when it says, we would like to see a level playing field here?
Okay, so reciprocity. Let's take a quite closer look at that. The Chinese had laws on the books, and Google and all the rest chose not to abide by them because it involved turning over information to the Chinese government. The Chinese have embarked on this idea of a sovereign internet. Now, the US is also embarking on that same path. It doesn't necessarily make it right either way.
Let's pause for a moment. We're going to pick up on the business aspect of all this now. As an app, it's full of funny videos, but as a business, it's deadly serious. Silly, perhaps. Addictive, certainly.
Hi, my name's Keith, and my friends think I'm addicted to TikTok.
TikTok, as we know it, only reached the United States in August 2018, but look at how it's exploded on the App Store. Most downloaded app 2018, again in 2019, and in 2020, the year of the lockdown no less, it's still the #1 social media app, ahead of YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and Snapchat. 100 million active users in the US, close to 1 in 3 Americans. No wonder analysts give its US business a price tag of $50 billion. And that is nothing to sniff at.
Thank you.
Okay, James, so the two options are either be banned in the United States or be sold to an American company. What do you predict?
I think ultimately the sale will go through. It will be more difficult than it was, say, a month or two ago because of concerns on both sides. But this is a valuable property. If it's banned in India, if it's banned in the United States, the value of TikTok and ByteDance goes down considerably. So the commercial incentives, the financial incentives are for the deal to go through. I think there's a way to meet the security concerns on both sides. And if we are reasonable about that, this is a sale that probably will occur.
And I know you've advised the last 6 presidents, including this one. Which company do you think is likely to win this particular bid?
I am told that the owner, the CEO of TikTok, approached Microsoft. He used to work there. He knows them. And so I think they have indicated a preference. You know how it works in these things, though. If another side comes in with a substantially better offer, right now I'd bet on the Microsoft partnership as the leading candidate.
The main problem, though, is what's going to happen to the artificial intelligence, because the Chinese have just brought in new regulations, making it more restrictive about what kinds of technology can be sold to foreign companies. So what's going to happen to that much coveted artificial intelligence, the mechanism by which TikTok sends you all those videos that you like increasingly and increasingly?
If the Chinese agree to permit the transfer of the TikTok algorithm with safeguards, perhaps, then the deal can go forward. If the Chinese say no algorithm, you've still got the TikTok brand, but it's much less valuable. You could replace the algorithm, but as we've all noted, there are other people standing in the wings who would love to pick up TikTok's mantle. The AI is what gives it its value. If that's not part of the deal, it may not happen.
Okay, well, James and Ina, thank you very much for joining us. We are going to switch to something we mentioned at the top of the show now, India's reaction. As we know, India has gone further than the United States and actually banned TikTok. Of course, India's reasons are a bit different to America's. India banned the app back in June, just weeks after the Chinese and Indian soldiers clashed along the Chinese-Indian border, an area known as the actual line of control. 20 Indian soldiers were killed. We spoke to Prasanto Roy, an India-based tech journalist who now advises businesses on government policy, and asked him why the Indian government really banned it.
Ostensibly, what was given as the reason was a review of apps and technology and platforms for data privacy and security concerns. But clearly, data security wasn't the major reason. I think, in all fairness, one has to look at the background. For quite a while, TikTok specifically and a few other apps like WhatsApp and all have been looked at because of their propensity to carry messages which incite violence, etc. Perhaps for no fault of the platform itself, but of the users on the platform or whatever. So there was a background in that context. But when this happened, this was, you could call it an act of revenge, or it could be an action triggered off by the conflict that happened. Clearly, this was a way that the government felt it could hit back at China.
Okay, let's bring in our final guest now, the popular TikToker known as Geet. She spends some time in India, a lot more time in the United States, and has a large audience in both. With 3 accounts, she has a combined following, if you like, of well over 11 million. That's fantastic. Well done, Geet. And thanks for joining us from Seattle. You're a hit in both countries, but of course, both of those audiences are now at threat. Let's start with India. Have you lost all of your followers now in India?
In effect, yes, because people in India are not able to access the app anymore. So for now, I can't reach any of the people who were following me from India.
And what do you think is going to happen with the United States? Are you worried you could lose them as well?
As it's coming down to the wire, yes, there is some worry, but I'm still hoping that a deal will be worked out and something will happen. Like I'm waiting for a miracle.
Yeah, but I mean, potentially you're looking at 11 million people here who have followed you. That must have been quite difficult to build up.
It's been a lot of effort. I run 3 different accounts, and on each account, I post up to 10 videos a day. So that was a lot of effort. I mean, posting 30 videos a day takes a lot of time. Definitely for the last year and a half, I've put in a lot of effort, and it's sad to see that go.
And your videos tend to be about life coaching. How are you going to reach all those people who you're trying to help if you don't have TikTok?
I don't think it's actually possible. I know when the India ban happened, I did tell a lot of my followers going live that, hey, you guys can follow me on all these other social media platforms. But I would say out of almost 11 million people, a few thousand followed me other places. There are people who will trickle in even now and say, I finally found you. I've been looking for you since the ban. But in effect, I don't think there is another platform out there right now that is as powerful as TikTok, has as great an organic reach as TikTok, and is as easy to use and as accessible to the masses.
Now, you have a lot of friends in India who actually make a living off TikTok. What's happened to them?
I think they're in a state of limbo right now. They don't know where they're going to earn from. They don't know what the future holds. There are a lot of different apps that have sprung up, but none of them really are providing them with that source of income yet. Because I think because there's like 10 or 15 apps that have sprung up, creators have gone everywhere. And so there's no single place where all the creators are creating content. And so there's no single place where advertisers, I think, are going and finding creators to work with. So I know it's been really, really difficult for the people who were dependent on TikTok for their living, because there were people who actually had come out of poverty using TikTok. They had made a better life for themselves and for their family. They had seen amazing dreams that TikTok had allowed them to dream. And
Can you give me an example of that?
There was one creator that I read about. He actually was a comedy creator, and he talked about how he was not able to afford very much, but once he started creating on TikTok, he was able to buy his dad his first vehicle, which was a motorcycle. He was able to buy his mom her first piece of gold jewelry. He was able to help a relative secure an office space to be able to actually make a living. And I think for creators like that, it's been really, really difficult.
Yeah, and you've said that it's a big hit with poor rural Indians. What made it so accessible for them?
It is very easy to use. It's available in regional languages. And I think that TikTok doesn't require aesthetics like a lot of other apps do. And so you just have to have a phone and an idea and you can create. And I think that is one of the reasons it was just so popular. And I also found that TikTok was very accepting of people and differences. It wasn't something that was specific to a certain class of people or a certain economic group of people. Myself, I'm in a wheelchair, and I found amazing acceptance on the app. I would say that in the year and a half that I've been on the app, I could probably count on one hand how many times I've received hate messages, which if I talk about other apps that I've been on, other social media platforms, that's not the same case.
Well, Geet, we have run out of time. Thank you so much for your contributions to the Nexus, and thank you at home for watching. Remember, you can see this episode again, or all our previous episodes, on our channel on YouTube. Just type in Nexus TRT World. Until next week then, goodbye.